Morning, everyone. Hey guys, hopefully you're having a blessed Monday. Hopefully you went to church or you got your spiritual food yesterday, because I sure did, and the pastor was on point. But he was preaching from the Psalms 23, the Lord is my shepherd. And it is him that I shall not want, right? I shall not want anything in God if he is my shepherd, right? There used to be a song with Daryl Coley sang years ago called He Shepherds Me, right? And I always talk about that, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death moment, which was our homelessness. My wife and I both went through that valley of the shadow of death. And in that valley, I literally discovered that not only was that the woman for me, but in my folly, in my embarrassment, in my humiliation, she was being humiliated with me. But not only was she being humiliated with me, she was a goddess in that moment while sleeping on that air mattress. And I like to be as transparent as humanly possible, because I kind of look at this, I look at life as an altar. It's those little foxes that destroy our vine, and it's those things that we don't talk about that do the most harm to us. And I got to see who Erica Nicole Malone Roberts really was in those moments. It's not these moments when we're doing movies and things are going great and everything's beautiful, but it's in the moments of adversity that we really discover who's around us and what they're really about. And I like to be as real as humanly possible, right? I wasn't a person that liked talking about any of this stuff, so please don't take this the wrong way when I say that, if this was 4 years ago, you wouldn't have heard me just openly say this. But it has been a blessing to my life to openly express to you, yes, I failed, and I failed big, and I failed so incredibly big that the humiliation was astounding. But I learned some things in that time. I learned who is there for me, right? 'Cause I'm not talking about giving me money, because to be quite honest with you, I'm not a big asker of money. Even homeless, didn't ask for a whole lot. I'm not talking about anything like that, because my failure came from trying, right? I was taking risk, and but I had to make we had to do some inner work. What is it about you, Brian, that causes you this pain? And I'll tell you instinctively what it was. God has placed in each and every one of us this sense of instinct, and we kind of can generally retrace back our steps and locate and identify the moment that we made that grave error in judgment. And mine was simple. Mr. Joe Santangelo had been promoting for 50 years. I mean, that's how long he's been promoting, right? And so this 50-year veteran in promotions tells us, whatever we do, don't promote with another promoter. Don't collaborate with another promoter. And what did I do? I did the same thing you do, because I was working, trying to feed my kids, trying to survive, and I'm working as a mortgage broker, and I couldn't see the way to make it work when my wife said, I've got another play I want to do. And that's how it basically works. So you guys fully comprehend this. This wasn't some company coming to us and saying, hey, we love your work, we'd love to see it. No, she would say, I've written this, I've got this idea, I got this fire in my belly, and I need to get this fire out. And as a good husband, I would say to her, you know what? Let's go help you get this fire out. And I never, hear me, never spoke against it, regardless of how financially despaired we were, regardless of if my light bill needed to be paid or not, regardless of if I didn't have a car worthy to drive. You got to stop being so circumstantial. Most people are simply circumstantial, and you deal with your circumstances, and you're consumed by your circumstances, and your circumstances are actually creating slavery and bondage within your life. And that's what I wanted to really come out and say, because truthfully, our lives were so abstract that most people used to tease us because we weren't driving the nicest car in the world, and I didn't have the nicest clothes on. My kids did. A lot of my stuff was coming from the Goodwill, and I don't mind telling you that. And that's kind of my issue in today's society, which I don't mind talking about, because it does get quite a bit annoying. One of the number one reasons why I designed Diamond VIP is because we can't lend out money after money after money after money like people want. In today's times, people will come to you and they know that they said that they were going to borrow money from you, but they actually took money from you, and then they'll come back and ask you again. The nerve. But not only the nerve, I look at it as a character flaw, because I'm actually watching you and I actually have photographic memory. So I remember what you did, what you claimed you were going to do, what you didn't do, that you claimed you was going to do. No one wants to be held accountable even for their own words, which to me is a problem in business. I know who I'm getting in business with. I know that if the times get tough, you got excuses. And I don't need that kind of person around me. So my wife decides she's going to go and write this play. She'd already written it and she showed me the script, right? And no problem. I wasn't even reading the scripts 90% of the time. I just trusted that God put something in her belly because that's what she said. And so then we would go to not raise money, not a GoFundMe. There was no such thing 30 years ago. But we go and save our money from paycheck to paycheck and come up with that down payment for the theater, which was normally about $2,500. And we go ahead and secure that spot. And then we start working the rest of our plan around having secured those radio spots or secured that theater 6 months in advance. And that, my friend, is what promotions is. And so as a strategist, as a promoter, you know, to me, 3.5 years is not that long of time. It's really not that long of a space of time. And so while some have been complaining, some have been leaving, some have been doubting, some have been concerned, I was consistently just building. That's why we're seeing something ripen and bud in this season. And that, let that be a lesson to you. If you build nothing, you will reap nothing. Let me say that one more time. If you build nothing, you will reap of it nothing. If you build half-heartedly, you will reap half-heartedness. The Bible says, whatsoever a man sows, that may he also reap. That he will also reap. That shall he also reap. So whatever you're sowing, if you're sowing into complaint, you're going to reap a harvest of complainers. Come on now. If you're sowing into prosperity, you're going to reap a harvest of prosperity later. One of the number one reasons why I changed the way my tongue directs and guides itself is it makes me sick. When my tongue speaks negative words about everything in the atmosphere, which is why I will not watch the news to get more negativity and become a negative Nelly. I just won't do it. That doesn't prosper me anything. What I found when I was broke, to be honest with you, back then, it really didn't affect me a whole lot what happened on the news anyway, unless it was a bomb that hit my actual house. Now, let's just be honest, right? But in today's times, you know, we had September 11th in 2001. That affected humanity. That affected all of us. All of us, right? We had the crisis in 2008. That also affected all of us. But shockingly, in 2008 into 2009, by the time we got to into 2009 into 2010, we didn't have anything else to worry about, my wife and I, because we were planning the entire time. And I want you to know that it's your plan. It is your plan. Your plan is what you reap later. Your plan is either what you reap best or what you reap worst. But either way, you can track it back to your plan. It was the day that you decided, I don't need this. I'm going to do this. It was the moment that you decided, I'm just going to pay this bill because, you know, he doesn't understand what I'm going through. I got bills. It's major in my life. And so I wanted to read to you this mission statement that I put in the room. And, you know, I know some of you read, some of you don't. I'm not stupid. I know some of you listen, some of you won't. I'm not stupid. I know some of you will watch and some of you won't. I'm not stupid, but I do know that if I do 7 things, 7 different ways, somebody will get it. So this says our vision is huge and it will come into focus from building with each other. We are paving the way for an online community that will instill the opportunity to network, build, and grow with our fellow entrepreneurs. Discover the stepping stones we are laying down as we work towards our ultimate independence and financial freedom. That, my friends, is not Diamond VIP, but guess what? That message is Diamond VIP. That 100% is Diamond VIP. And I'll say it one more again for those who didn't get it the first round. Our vision is huge, and it will come into focus from building with each other. That's how it comes into focus. Every time I hear someone say, that's not for me. I don't do those kinds of things. I want to ask you, baby, what do you do? Because I'm going to give you some error correction here. I'm going to take out an eraser and erase something from your past. If you're doing it for you, you've given God zero reason to do anything for you. I'll say it one more time. If you're doing it for you, you're literally giving Jehovah zero reason to do it for you. Know who you're talking about here. You're talking about a God who sent a man in the flesh as his son to lay down his life for you. That sounds like more than a me and two situation. That sounds like a me and thousands and millions and billions of souls is what God did. And so we are made in his likeness and image, which basically means that we are required to do greater works. It says in the Bible, right? He's talking about it. Jesus said, I go, but I leave another comforter, and he shall teach you and lead you and guide you in all things. And then he says, greater works than these shall you do. How do you do those greater works? Are you going to do them by yourself? Are you going to do them because social media said that it's all about me and I'm trying to get a following and I'm going to be the one and no, you're not. And even if you do get lucky and get something out of that, it will fall through your fingers, slip through the cracks at some point. You're not giving God enough reason to bless you. 100% of my wife and I's blessing has come through blessing others. The only reason why I sit here today is the Most High showed me that, Brian, if no one purchased a ticket when you were struggling, you would still be struggling. So go back to the same people and teach them what I taught you and your wife about real true guidance, right? I can lay out for you the foundation. I can lay out for you the plan. I can draw up the plays, but if you don't execute the plays, I cannot help you. That has nothing to do with me. Find out what in you is not allowing you to actually execute the plays. I've given you the plan. I broke down BNI and why. Really, to be honest with you, if 30 of you would have joined, actually I gave room for 7, but if by now 30 of you would have joined, what would have happened is you would understand that you actually have access not only to what Brian is saying, but to anything you could possibly find out there. Just like Jordan Oliver was able to build his business, his primary business now, off of just listening to me and going to BNI. You don't know what you don't know. Now, when it comes to scaling a business, in the 7 things, right, that you have to do to scale, one of those things in that 7 says invest in technology. I showed you the 10 commandments of Bernie Moreno's company. And the last one was embrace technology. And what do we find in underprivileged communities? The most. We can put something on Facebook, we can Google, we can be entertained by technology, but we refuse to learn the language of technology, which thusly leaves us behind. And so don't look at the receipts at the end if you weren't willing to learn the language of technology. Within technology, we've given you e-economy. My goal was to get us all into Forex, and I've successfully done that in a way that I don't have to sit and manage it. I don't want to sit and manage it for 1,000 people. That's not how that's going to work. But we do have AI. And if you'll take the time to learn the language, you're in school right now, take the time to learn the language, it can prosper you and your family for the rest of your human days. You will be financially secure. You will become wealthier than you've ever thought imaginable or possible in this lifetime. And if you do that, I can show you in the Congo where you can invest in a house for $46,000 built from the ground. See, that's what the whole plan is. The plan's way bigger than you. My plan was to always answer questions that you did not ask. That's my plan. That's what being a promoter is. A promoter is a visionary. And being a visionary, you have to build the fullness of the dream, regardless of what the questions are. Today questions don't matter for tomorrow's dream. They just don't. They just don't. They don't do anything for tomorrow's dream. But if you answer tomorrow's questions, then you get to find people like Mr. Kevin Williams, who is an architect, who is in stage 4. If you read through it, it talks about bonding with the global community. It talks about e-games and e-sports. I'm talking about New Hollywood. It talks about, what else does it talk about? Oh, it talks about fitness and health. But the last one talks about financial gain. And let me tell you who's in that financial gain in that stage 4. Other architects like him, other builders like him, people that like build up St. George's County, one of the wealthiest black counties in DC. How about bankers? How about people that you really don't generally get in rooms with? Now you can get in and listen. And that, my friends, is what Brian had always desired, is to put you in the play of a millionaire, a billionaire, and to be able to take from that, from such a little investment. Because my assumption is that you don't have the money to put a lot of money into these things that we talk about. But guess what? When I go talk to the board tomorrow, we've now positioned Diamond VIP in the freaking catbird seat in multiple streams of income. Live Good takes care of your body. Numi takes care of your body and your mind. Hear me. If you need Dr. Franco Taylor, we have him. This network is so tremendous now that even I sit in awe of what God is doing. Oba Babantunde, he sends me messages every other day. This is just someone who saw the passion in my eyes. I didn't even ask him 2 questions. I didn't tell him about Diamond VIP. He said, hey, I want to be a part of what you're doing. He just knew I was doing something. And that's what you want to happen to your life. Then what you must do is engage fully into your purpose. And my purpose is to serve humanity in the best human way that I humanly possibly can. But I don't want to serve humanity on 1/3 of how I think. I want to serve humanity on 1/50th of how I think. That's right, 100% and then some more of how I think. And if it slows me down, I won't be around. I'm just telling you the truth, because my brain goes too fast to just sit there and not do something. I'm a designer. I'm a builder. I'm a thinker. I was always that way. I always drew, a visionary. So I'm going to read this one more time, and I pray that it sinks in this time. Our vision is huge, and it will come into focus from building with each other. How? With one another. You're going to have to talk. You're going to have to get on the phone and listen to someone else's dream and maybe add to it some of your dream. Or how about give them a connection or 2 that you have, you know, those things you've been holding. Yeah, give those up, right? Because you're going to die with them. It doesn't really matter, right? Give them up and try, right? Try to do the best humanly that you possibly can for one another. I'm not asking you to give money. I'm asking you to give intellect. I'm asking you to give your heart. And when we do that with each other, we are paving the way for an online community that will instill the opportunity to network, build, and grow with our fellow entrepreneurs. Discover the stepping stones we are laying down as we work towards our ultimate independence. Independence. Independent of your job. Independent of someone telling you what to do. Independent of someone telling you when to get up and how to jump and where to go. And financial freedom, your legacy, your children's children. Hopefully this has been of benefit to you today. God bless. I don't want to make any of them more than 20 minutes. Have a great one.